School district said Monday that 5,600 students and 316 employees of the district were in isolation or quarantine. The district's school board will hold an emergency session on Wednesday to discuss the best ways to mitigate the spread of the virus. The outbreak there coming as the state of Florida continues to see an uptick in reported cases, averaging more than 21,000 new infections per day over the last 7 days.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates.
The versatile and unique
I can't wait to get together with my friends for a backyard barbecue. If you're 65 or older, you're starting to get back to doing things you love. Did you know even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia? It's a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13 valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Ask your doctor or pharmacist today about Prevnar 13. Learn more at Prevnar13.com. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com.
The versatile and unique leafy green that stands out in the crowd. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise, we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders. Support us at 4h.org.
Living in Florida, we have so much to celebrate. Awesome weather, top-notch universities and sports teams, a rich blend of cultures, and so much more. From fresh market tomatoes to watermelons, from snap beans to tangerines, Florida farmers grow an abundance of safe and affordable products that are prized around the world. So look for the Fresh from Florida label when you shop. Wholesome, delicious, nutritious. Fresh from Florida. Fresh to you.
Leafy greens are not only healthy, they're easy to grow, and in most cases, you can get a continual harvest. Malikia stands out among the leafy green crowd, which is why more people should try growing it. Malikia is fantastic because you can harvest a ton off of one plant and it can be used medicinally as food and to make fiber. It's also resistant to most pests and diseases and self-seeds freely. It's also called Egyptian spinach, but it isn't actually related to spinach. It's from the same family as okra, durian, and cacao. Full of nutrients, Malikia can be made into tea, a soup, used in raw salads, or used to thicken cooking liquids. While it's traditionally served with rabbit and cilantro, your choices are endless. Planting seed is the easiest way to get Malikia started in your garden. Plant in full sun and in a container. For companion planting, choose brassica, beans, peas, strawberries, or onions as its neighbors. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be mostly cloudy with a thunderstorm this afternoon. High today 90 to 92. Then becoming partly cloudy tonight with a low 75 to 79. Wednesday will have sunshine mixing with some clouds with a thunderstorm in the afternoon. High tomorrow 92 to 94. Sunshine and a few clouds Thursday. Thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. High 90 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
It's rodeo time in Ocala. The 39th annual Ocala Shrine Rodeo returns to the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion September 3rd and 4th, 7:30 nightly. Witness the superstars of the PRCA as cowboys ride to help children walk. For tickets and information, check out OcalaShrineRodeo.com for broncs, bulls, and babes. The Ocala Shrine Pro Rodeo, September 3rd and 4th, 7:30 nightly.
This is a rewind of Sunrise Auto with Matt Gibbs. This is a rewind.
Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
That's exactly correct. The man said that all the folks at Sunrise Auto, Matt Gibbs, and the crew there will treat you right. They certainly will, and I can say that because they've treated me right. This is not just something. I've actually taken vehicles to Matt, and Matt's done me a solid. Actually helped me buy a vehicle. With the advice you gave me, I was able to negotiate a better price because of what is needed for repairs on the vehicle I bought. And that's something y'all do on a regular basis. If people want to bring in and get a diagnostic run, there's a set price for that. And you'll help them out and tell them yay or nay on whether this is a solid vehicle or not a solid vehicle. Because you ain't got no skin in the game.
No. We do it all the time, almost every day.
Much better than Carfax. You're better than Carfax.
Well, and to be honest with you, we use Carfax.
Well, yeah,
it's as far a part of the check. So I'm a Carfax shop,
right?
So if you bring your car in to me, it's for an oil change, and this is good. This is a good service that we utilize for if you're going to resell or trade in your car on your next car purchase. So whenever you bring a car to us, that at 2:00 in the morning, Carfax comes in and takes all the stuff that we did that day, and they put it on their file. So now if you trade that car in, or you're selling that car, or someone runs Carfax on your VIN number, it's going to show that it got, and it's pretty explicit. It shows that we changed your oil, we adjusted your brakes, we rotated your tires.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to be a Carfax Auto.
I have to pay to be a part of that.
Because I keep all my records, every oil change I did. It'd be much easier if I just go to a place that was a Carfax place where they would keep it all for me.
Well,
in the cloud,
and I keep every repair that we do. I keep so I have companies. Like if you have a company, and let's say maybe you're not the best record keeper. Right. I have companies at the end of the year. Hey Matt, can you fax this over, or can you make us a printout of a history of everything that we did with you guys? And it's just literally a push of a button, and it spits it all out.
Because that helps when you're selling the car, especially in private sales, person-to-person sales. It helps when you can say, look, I've maintained this car immaculate for the time I've owned it. Here's what I've done. Like, I can show people that I've had the front bearings changed in the Cadillac.
Yep.
I can show people that the radiator's been changed in the Cadillac. The water pump's been replaced. Serpentine belt's been replaced. The brakes have been redone with a lifetime warranty on them.
That's right.
I can show all of that. But that's because I keep it in a folder in the glove box.
Right. And then
Although I don't even know if the place that I use on a regular basis, because I've had an arrangement with him for years. I use Matt Gibbs. Don't get me wrong. I use Matt Gibbs for some stuff. But I have a place I've used for years, and I do most of my repairs. And I don't even know if they're a Carfax place.
Just ask them.
I will. Next time I talk to them, I'm like, hey, because if you're not, I'm moving them all of it to Matt Gibbs.
No, it's just we do a lot of stuff for used car dealers.
Yeah.
And we're even starting to do stuff for new car dealers. So by doing that's a huge benefit for them guys.
How big a game changer was Carfax when it came on the scene?
I don't think when it first came out, I don't think it was that big of a deal, but it's definitely
morphed into a huge deal.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the way we play the game anymore.
And I'll tell you, but sometimes you can still get the system. I'll give you a prime example. In 1999, 2000, I was opening Mellow Mushroom here in Gainesville. And I had a big Chevrolet C5, the Blazer, the big old Blazer and everything. And I was driving back and forth to Georgia and everything. I said, this ain't going to work. So I had a buddy of mine that I knew had rebuilt, he had rebuilt a Nissan 240, not a 240Z, the Nissan 240X, which by the way, and he had the Sport Coupe, which by the way, there's not a better handling car than that. It was a 1994 or 95 240X. It was a good little sports car, and he had rebuilt it. What I mean he rebuilt it is he redid the whole thing because it had been part of the South Carolina flood.
Okay.
And so it went underwater. So when he redid it, all there was a salvage title on it. Because in South Carolina, you got to get a salvage title because this is a car that it had to be documented, had been flooded. So I buy it from him, and I got to change the title from South Carolina to Florida. So I take it to the DMV there in Gainesville, out on 13th, out by the highway patrol, and some little college girl was working there, and God love her, she did me a solid without realizing she did me a solid. Because when you get a salvage title, it's easy to see it's a salvage title. Across the title in numerous areas are the words salvage, 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 salvage. Like in a ticker tape, almost like a stock market thing, all over this title. Somehow this girl missed that and gave me an actual clean bill of health title in the state of Florida for this salvage car, this flood salvage car. Now, I sold it to a friend of mine and told him, hey, even though this title says it's clean, my buddy rebuilt it. It was a salvage car and everything. I had the stones where I told him up front.
Right.
I know when he resold that car, he didn't tell anybody about that flood.
Right.
But that's one of the things that you can't do anymore because Carfax will get you.
Okay, so now here's the flip side to that. So you can still, and there's always a way
to game the system.
Yeah. So here, like for instance, let's say the car you're in an accident. Now you don't go through an insurance company. See, in order for it to be reported to Carfax, it has to go through an insurance company.
I take it to my buddy that owns ABC, and I pay for it out of my pocket. Now Carfax don't know anything about it.
Right. So that's where we step into play. It's great putting it in and checking the history and look at, like I'm buying a car today. After the show,
right.
Me and my wife are heading to. And I did a Carfax on it. I did an auto check. A lot of the dealers use a thing called auto check, which is just like Carfax, but
it's a dealership version.
Right. And but now, okay, so that checks out good. Now I got to touch it, I got to feel it, I got to look at it. I'm gonna do my due diligence because there's things that I have trained my eyes to see.
Well, yeah, because I bet you can recognize, even if a car comes back that's never been in a wreck, this and that, you can check and say, ooh, that's an aftermarket quarter panel. Ooh, that's an aftermarket tail light. Yeah, right. I'm sure there's ways that as a trained eye mechanic, why has it got an aftermarket quarter panel on if it's never been in a wreck?
Right.
Stuff like that. And that's stuff that you can see with a trained eye.
Yes. And it might come out with, and this is no lie. I'm telling honest God truth. This guy was buying a Honda Accord.
Right.
Okay. And it was like it was a brown car. It was a brown with light brown leather, and I'll never forget it. And this car came out, and it's a clean Carfax, clean auto check.
Brown car with brown interior.
Dark brown car with light brown interior. Nice looking car, nice chrome wheels.
Right.
It was a nice car. It was a clean car. Mileage was good. It was in the 40s. We lift this car up, Tom, and you can see where the car had been welded. The front half had been welded to the back half. It was two cars.
It's two different cars that they made into one.
And it all came. It was
came back clean.
Came back clean.
And that would be two different VIN numbers, I would think. Two different cars.
No, you just use the VIN number that's in the front.
On the front of the motor.
Yeah. So
how many places do they put the VIN number nowadays?
They pretty much put VIN numbers all over the place, and that's for these guys that do stealing and stripping, and stuff like that.
Because that's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
You ain't lying.
Chop shops are a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yes, sir.
And not only that, I found out recently, I was talking to some police that I'm friends with, that this area where we live in Central Florida, hotbed for stealing of Toyota Camrys, Honda Accords, believe it or not, Honda CRVs, and a lot of the Hyundai products, but they don't chop them. They take them as quick as they can, put them in containers in Miami, and they're gone. And sold as cars in South America, Central America, Africa, Europe, and it's pure profit. Nobody paid for that car.
There was actually a little ring going on right here in Ocala. That was okay. So they were buying these trucks, and they were like just a cab and chassis.
Right.
So it was just a cab, no chassis. I mean, a cab and chassis. It was no bed on it.
Right, no bed.
And they were literally taking it right after the cab ended. They were cutting the frames in half. So you got a front half and a back half. So this is 8884. 8884. A is the front half. B is the back half.
Right.
And then they were sending them to a place in Jamaica that was turning around selling them to a place in Cuba.
Putting them together.
And then and they were sold as car parts. And then when they get to wherever their destination is, they just weld the two halves back together.
And ready to go.
And they got a truck.
Good morning. You're on with Matt Gibbs.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey, you.
Say, Matt, I was talking to my brother-in-law over the weekend. He's up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And in the conversation, he was saying there's been a rash of thievery with automobiles. Over about 500 of them have been stolen. They're catalytic converters.
Oh.
What would be the value of a converter like that? Is there a precious metal in that, or are they just expensive, or what?
Okay, so I had myself a little Hyundai Tucson, 2009 Hyundai Tucson, that I bought personally that I was going to use to fix up and sell. And I go to work the other day, this was last week, and I start up my Hyundai Tucson that I just got done all working on and had it all cleaned up, and it's just as loud as it could be. And someone stole the catalytic converter off of it in my parking lot.
Oh my gosh! Well, what is a big deal for resale for these people that steal them to resell them, or is there some kind of a precious metal in there, or what?
Well, I'm not 100% sure on the aftermarket catalytic converters, but I do know because a factory catalytic converter could be like $800.
Right.
And I could get that same catalytic converter aftermarket for $250 or $300.
Right.
Right. So something's got to be different between $800 and $300. But I do know that a lot of catalytic converters use palladium.
Right.
So palladium is probably one of the most expensive precious metals.
What's the value of palladium? We'll see what Google says.
Here's information from JM Bullion.
Yeah, palladium an ounce right now is $2,773 an ounce.
So that's probably why the converters are being stolen.
Yeah.
And we have guys.
He was saying to me that converter can be removed less than 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes, like 10 seconds, buddy. They use a sawzall and just cut them off and go.
They're part of the exhaust system. They just cut them off and go.
They just cut it off with a sawzall and go.
Remember back in the day when you used to...
I hope we don't have that problem down here.
Thanks for the call, Hugh. Remember back in the day when your O2 sensor light would come on? And that just meant it was time to take a mop stick and jam it through the catalytic converter. So you could, once they took away inspections in Florida, that just meant now you just took the mop handle and jammed it through the catalytic converter and busted it out so that the O2 sensor light would go off.
We did all
You never did that.
No,
but you heard that it was done.
Well, what we did was, you would get a test pipe and take out the converter, put in a test pipe, just to make sure that now the car runs. Well, the car runs a lot better now. Yeah. And then the people never come back. I don't know what happened to them.
Never come back.
They just never come. That's what we used to do crazy stuff.
Another thing that people steal a lot of because they're expensive is airbags.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize the importance of airbags, not only in people stealing them because they're very expensive to replace, but I found from friends of mine in the insurance industry that almost every time airbags are deployed, the vehicle's totaled. And it's not because the vehicle needs to be totaled because it's so much damage, it's that
the cost
and the liability of putting in new airbags that didn't come, they're not factory airbags, and the liability that because they're aftermarket airbags, they may malfunction or something. The insurance doesn't want that liability. So they just totaled the car because now you got side airbags, you got front airbags, you got rear airbags. I mean, a friend of mine got in a wreck with her Honda Accord, a 2019 Honda Accord. It had airbags. It looked like curtains hanging.
And it has curtains.
I mean, that's what it looked like.
Yep.
And so her Honda Accord, it was a $30,000 vehicle. It had front end damage that literally you needed to replace the front clip and the radiator probably was all that needed to be replaced. Didn't pop the tires, nothing.
And they totaled it.
Totaled it.
Yeah.
Because replacing the airbags, they don't want to face the liability of aftermarket airbags.
And they're having such an issue with airbags. And it's all the manufacturers.
Yeah.
All of them. They're having so many recalls. They're having so many issues. And it's kind of a shame because the manufacturers are really the ones that are trying to make these cars safer. They're the ones that are putting the research, the development, the time, the effort, and then they outsource, because to be honest with you, I mean, GM and Ford and Toyota and all these guys, they don't they don't make cars anymore.
No, they assemble cars. Henry Ford started the stopping of building cars, and he bought the parts and assembled cars. Now everybody assembles cars. Nobody.
Right.
The parts are made by other companies, and they're assembled. Like, I'll give you a prime example. Here we have a place that makes emergency vehicles.
Right.
But the bladders that go into a lot of their fire trucks are made by a company that's owned by Daniel Owen here in town.
Right.
They don't make those bladders at E1.
Right.
They buy those bladders from somebody else and put them in the trucks.
Right.
They assemble the trucks.
It's like Pro Poly. They build the water tanks, and stuff like that for all the trucks.
Right.
You know? And
they assembled them.
Right.
So really, what's the difference between factory and aftermarket if really the factory's not building the parts, they're buying them just like you are?
That's right. That's a big deal for us. Me as owning a shop. So parts are like anything else. Everything. Do you remember the old saying? You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Okay, so that goes with parts.
You can pay me now, or you can pay me later.
Or you can pay me 3 times now, or pay me 1 time now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so the GM, Ford, Toyota, they all outsource all this stuff. They're getting Delphi to make all the starters and alternators and fuel pumps and a lot of the electrical stuff for GM products. Motorcraft, they outsource all this stuff. We had some companies right here in Ocala that were actually outsourced by General Motors to make stuff for particular cars for GM.
Right.
And so it's our job to find out, like, the ball joints in your truck. I can buy ball joints for $8.95, and I guarantee you they'll last 6 months.
Right.
They'll last long enough to get through the warranty period.
Right.
Or I can buy a ball joint that costs $23, $25 that'll last, and with a lifetime warranty, and it'll last you probably as long as you own the vehicle. And those are the same things that GM and Ford and Toyota
are doing right now.
Well, so one of the things that impressed me with Hyundai years ago, I had a customer that worked for a plastics company. And I didn't realize it, but there's different grades of plastic.
Right.
And he sold plastic to numerous car guys. And this one car company was buying plastic from him. And he said, and the thing that impressed him was they're buying the best, highest quality of plastic that we provide.
And it was Hyundai.
It was Hyundai.
Yeah. Well, they're giving a 10-year warranty. You got to have. People forget, in the early 70s, Honda and Toyotas were junk. Junk. I had a 76 Honda Civic that had a 1500cc motor in it, okay? It had a motorcycle motor in it. 3-speed.
Yeah.
And the thing would fly. But it was junk.
It's junk.
Okay? Hyundai and Kia in the early 90s, when they first came on the scene here in 90, 91, 92, they made junk. It's easy to say. They made junk.
Disposable cars.
Now they make one of the best vehicles on the road.
It's with one of the best warranties out there.
But it was junk. But they all were junk. Toyota and Honda. People forget. People think they're the greatest Ford. They were junk when they first came to this country.
And Datsun.
Yeah, Datsun.
Datsun.
Let's go to the phone lines. Hi, you're on with Matt Gibbs.
Hey, Matt, Tom, Sonny calling.
Hey, Sonny.
That was in the news earlier, actually last week, about the Tulsa car that crashed. Took the fire department 4 hours and 30,000 gallons of water to put the fire out.
Because the Tesla batteries kept catching back.
The battery that was burning.
Yeah.
I don't know. These cars, everybody, thinks they're so great. They got their problems just like a regular automobile. And the other thing, talking about battery-operated cars, and I think it was 1899 or 1904, somewhere around there, New York had more battery-operated cars than they had horses and wagons and carriages, because the horses and the wagon took too much space up. So people were buying electric cars just to tool around in Manhattan. And it's really quite a little piece of history there that's I find interesting anyway, because they didn't tell you how they kept them charged up, because a lot of places didn't have electric lights.
Right.
So anyway, you know.
It's kind of, yeah, it is. Thanks for the call, Sonny. Let's go back out to the phone. Well, somebody they were right there, and then they hung up. They were calling in. I was going to answer, and then they hung up. But Sonny brings up a good point. Every GM says they're going to full electric by 2035. Ford is now on board with going electric by 2037. Nissan and Toyota said they'll probably be fully electric by 2033. That brings up a good point. This Tesla, this self-driving Tesla, that Tesla now says it wasn't in self-driving mode. I don't know why anybody would run behind it. Elon Musk was quick to say, we looked at the black box and it wasn't in self-driving mode. It's not our fault. Okay. But this battery was like one of those candles you get when you're a 10-year-old, your parents want to aggravate you. You blow it out and it keeps coming back on. This battery, for 4.5 hours, they fought this battery with water, foam, all kind of things before they finally were able to extinguish it. Are we going to see more and more issues that we just can't know about because we don't have enough information about electric cars yet? Are we going to continue to see more and more issues like this?
Well, I believe history always repeats itself. So yes, I mean, I think that is part of how we learn, right? What about, was it not Tom Edison, the one that created the light bulb?
Yes.
Did he not say, it wasn't that I failed 23,000 times?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well, yeah. I mean, there were some cars that were made, even when they knew how to make cars.
Exactly.
That could kill you. And it was all over money. I was watching Modern Marvels the other day. An $11 fix per car would have stopped a Pinto from being a firebomb. $11. Ford literally looked at what it would take, how many people that they had an algorithm, how many people would die through this and the lawsuits they'd have to face, or what it would take to spend the $11 to fix every Pinto. They thought it was about $190 million to fix every Pinto at the time. The lawsuit probability they faced was somewhere around $30 million. So they decided to go with the $30 million. Instead of fixing it, people died in Pintos. And Ford knew that would happen. But knew, well, if we face those lawsuits, it's only going to be about $30 million. If we fix every Pinto, it's going to be $190 million. We're going to go with a $30 million option. Ford, I remember that scandal really when it happened in the late 70s. Pintos were rocket, they were fuel bombs.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember when all that was going on.
The first one I ever seen blow up, I was 12 years old. We were at the Pecan Park Raceway, and somebody was driving it in an enduro race. It was a 72 or 73 Pinto, an enduro race, and it got rear-ended. And it blew up. Guy got out, luckily. He had a fire suit on and everything. But the Pinto, all of a sudden, there was just a big fireball. Because it got rear-ended in an enduro race. Saw a Gremlin do that once, too, in an enduro race, burst into fire. Remember those cars, the Gremlins?
Yeah.
They were ugly things. Didn't they have like 304s in them or something?
And a Pacer?
Yeah.
A Gremlin with a 304, that was a bad little car.
Yeah, it was. And I think that's the motor it had in it, wasn't it? It was a 304.
I'm not really sure.
I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Gremlins.
And the AMC Pacer.
The AMC Pacers. Just big window car. Big window car. Hey, Matt, where can people find you?
You can give me a call at 352-81... let me give you my shop number.
Yeah.
352-690-1993, or you can reach me at 1800 Northwest 10th Street right here in Ocala.
Matt Gibbs, Sunrise Auto. Auto repair with personal care with Sunrise Auto. See you not next week, probably, but the week after.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll be right back after this timeout. WOCA The Source. The Sunrise Auto Show. We're going to take a break, come back, wrap up a Tuesday edition of Ocala Talks right here on 1370 AM 96.3 FM WOCA The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
The versatile and unique leafy green that stands out in the crowd. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
You're going to need me.
Obama released 5 Taliban commanders from the Guantanamo Bay prison in exchange for an American deserter in 2014.
Obama assured Americans the dangerous enemy. When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source. One of the 5 men released by Obama.
Today will be mostly cloudy with a thunderstorm this afternoon. High today 90 to 92. Then becoming partly cloudy tonight with a low of 75 to 79. Wednesday will have sunshine mixing with some clouds with a thunderstorm in the afternoon. High tomorrow 92 to 94. Sunshine and a few clouds Thursday. Thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. High 90 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
It's rodeo time in Ocala. The 39th annual Ocala Shrine Rodeo returns to the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion September 3rd and 4th, 7:30 nightly. Witness the superstars of the PRCA as cowboys ride to help children walk. For tickets and information, check out OcalaShrineRodeo.com for broncs, bulls, and babes. The Ocala Shrine Pro Rodeo, September 3rd and 4th, 7:30 nightly.
Analyzes over 1 million data points per day.
We at WOCA recognize the importance of voting. That's why we're offering all the candidates an opportunity to come in on the air and explain why they feel you should cast your valuable vote for them. On Wednesday, August 25th, my guests will be Kristen Dreyer, Alex Everett, Lloyd Martin Gregory, Barbara Feitos, Kevin Lopez, and Curtis Jones. They're all running for District 4 Ocala City Council. This information is brought to you by WOCA, The Source, in hopes that you will vote and that this will help in making your decision come September 21st.
Receive calls, voice, and text messages with automated technology.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me?
Get out and vote. September 21st is the election for the city of Ocala. It's nonpartisan, so whether you're a Democrat or Republican doesn't matter. It's a perfect time for all registered Ocala voters to be heard concerning local issues. Every vote matters. Don't let someone else speak for you by not voting. Apathy about voting has become somewhat of a problem. Get out and vote. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. We at WOCA recognize the importance of voting. That's why we're offering all the candidates an opportunity to come on the air and explain why they feel you should cast your valuable vote for them. On Monday, August 23rd from 10:30 to 11, our guests will be Brent Molliver and Barry Mansfield, candidates for the office of District 1 Ocala City Council. This information is brought to you by WOCA, The Source, in hopes that you will vote and that this will help in making your decision come September 21st.
Think you know Dex Imaging? Think again. In the office, streamlining communications. In the field, delivering top-notch service, enhancing productivity and reducing downtime. In the data center, a part of the growing digital document revolution. In the world of business, supporting entrepreneurs and helping companies grow. In the forefront of technology, developing cutting-edge document management solutions. So if you think you know Dex Imaging, you don't know Dex.
We at WOCA recognize the importance of voting. That's why we're offering all the candidates an opportunity to come on the air and explain why they feel you should cast your valuable vote for them. On Friday, August 27th, Manal Fakori and Kent Gwynn, two candidates for mayor of Ocala, will be in studio. This information is brought to you by WOCA, The Source, in hopes that you will vote and that this will help in making your decision come September 21st.
It's rodeo time in Ocala. The 39th annual Ocala Shrine Rodeo returns to the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion September 3rd and 4th, 7:30 nightly. Witness the superstars of the PRCA as cowboys ride to help children walk. For tickets and information, check out OcalaShrineRodeo.com for broncs, bulls, and babes. The Ocala Shrine Pro Rodeo, September 3rd and 4th, 7:30 nightly.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
Two Men in a Truck.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talk. Wrap up hour number 3 of the show. I saw this article and I thought, well, now are they grasping for straws? But then when you get into the article, it makes a little more sense to you. The headline was what grabbed me. It says, as Delta variant surges, Florida gas prices drop again, a trend likely to continue. And I'm like, so as COVID surges, gas prices drop. Where's the correlation? And that's because people aren't going to drive properly. According to AAA, Auto Club of the South, and its weekly gasoline prices released yesterday, Florida has seen an impact where the average a gallon of gas has fallen by 2 cents in the past week. The average price of gas in Florida is $3.03, down again from last week. COVID-19 prevented gas prices from gaining any ground last week, according to Mark Jenkins, a spokesman for AAA. Crude oil, gasoline future prices have fallen under downward pressure due to worries about how the Delta variant could reduce global fuel demand. The lower future prices enable gas prices to trend lower. U.S. crude oil prices finished the week at $68.44 a barrel. Prices in the gasoline market also dropped slightly, according to Jenkins. He said that it finished the week 7% lower than the past 2 weeks. Gas prices rise at the spring, fluctuate in the summer and fall in the fall and winter months. However, this has been anything but a traditional year, according to Jenkins. But it looks like with more people getting worried about COVID and not wanting to travel again, that your cars will be off the road, supply will be up, demand will be down, prices will go down. Joe Biden will take credit for that. He'll say his economic policies have made gas go down. Has nothing to do with people aren't traveling as much because school started back. Has nothing to do with people aren't traveling as much because of the surging, the Delta variant of COVID, keeping people at home and not traveling. Has nothing to do with that. It's his economic policy that'll take credit for that, I'm sure. But, anytime the gas price goes down, I'm okay with that. I mean, I remember just last year when Donald Trump was still president, I could fill my Cadillac up for about $35. Now it takes $60 to do the same thing. That's a huge increase. That's almost a 100% increase on what it cost. And, do I price shop? I try to. But if you get it at $289 at, near your house, and you get it at $287 8 miles away, well, is it really worth going to get that $287? No, of course not. So, but, gas prices go up in the spring, fluctuate in the summer, and come down in the fall. That's how it usually works, and I'm sure it's going to work that way this year. I did see in some places in Orlando, gas prices have creeped over the $3 mark. Panama City, they're $3.13 on the average. And now with that tropical storm coming through, who knows how much it'll be. As, Mexico beats St. Joe and Panama City. That's where Fred came on shore today. Or last night, so in the middle of the night. So, see what gas prices up there will do. But in our area, you can find gas between $2.89 and $3, $2.99, 10-cent variant, depending on where you go to get gas. I'd like it to be closer to $2.29. That's where I'd like it. $2.25 a gallon, something like that. Maybe even $1.99 a gallon, dare I say. That'd be nice. That'd be really nice. But gas prices are going to take a trend downward if the futures markets and AAA are to be believed. Gas prices should start taking it should continue to come down, albeit 2 cents in a week is not a whole lot of movement. I mean, come on, 2 cents? 2 cents ain't that big of a movement. Speaking of gas, if you have motorcycles, we want you to spend some of your gas money on coming to the motorcycle escort of the 911 traveling wall. The motorcycle escort will be September 10th. bike staging area at Warhorse Harley Davidson. That's on North U.S. Highway 441, just outside of Ocala. Registration is from 8 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. Kickstands are up at 10 a.m. Commemorative poker chip to the first 100 bikers that show up for this event. The ride will proceed on a scenic route around Ocala to the Veterans Memorial Park at 2601 Southeast Fort King Street. It's at the top of the parking lot where the public library is and Vets Helping Vets. Lunch is also going to be provided by Mission Barbecue at Veterans Memorial Park at the conclusion of the event. If you want to know more about it or how to get involved with it, you can get in touch with Captain Pamela Driggers of the Marion County Fire Rescue at pamela.driggers@marioncountyfl.org, or you can reach out to Lieutenant Eric Hooper at the Ocala Police Department at ehooper@ocalapd.org. So it's just, the 911 traveling wall, the 9/11 traveling wall with all the names of the victims and all of that tragic event will be at the Veterans Memorial Park on 9/11, but it's going to get a motorcycle escort on September 10th from Warhorse Harley Davidson all the way to the Veterans Memorial Park. If you want to be part of that, just call Warhorse Harley Davidson. They'll have information for you as well. Also, I want to remind you, there's a classic car show September 18th at Fort King Daylight Lodge, number 389. That's at 3632 Northeast 7th Street here in Ocala. You do have to pay a $10 entry fee to put your car in the show. $15 entry fee day of the event. They're going to have first and second and third place trophies and best in show. There's going to be food, entertainment, a lot of different drawings, giveaways. Contact Mike Rice if you got any questions, 336-413-3316. Again, that's Mike Rice, 336-413-3316. Or you can contact Alan Rhodes at 352-207-9064. Again, that's Alan Rhodes, 352-207-9064. The event, this car show event, is going to be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. All proceeds go to support youth organizations in and around our area. So come out and enjoy the day. It's a classic car show, September 18th at the Fort King Daylight Lodge. And then a charity golf tournament, the 4th of September, for the Marine Corps League. Detachment 061 has a charity golf outing. It's going to be at Ocala Golf Club. They're going to have different divisions. They're going to have a men's division, a women's division, a mixed division with 2 men, 2 women on the team. It's a 4-person scramble. Team categories, like I told you, men, women, and mixed. Cost per person is $50. That includes green fees, cart, range balls, and lunch after the event. It is an 8 a.m. shotgun. There'll be plenty of chances for you to get more donations, too. They're going to give longest drive to men and women, closest to the hole on 2 selected par 3s. If you want to find out any more information about this, call Kathleen Potoff at 813-318-2721. That is Kathleen at 813-318-2721. Just a little few housekeeping things, letting you know of events that are coming up that you may want to be a part of. Coming up after the break, we wrap up Ocala Talks. I want to talk to you about last night in the emergency school board meeting and what happened there. Plus, we'll have birth dates of the day and a couple of other cool things. What day? Give you the day. It's a it's a special day today. There are 2 national days that are today, and we'll talk about this day in history in 1969. It's hurricane season. Maybe we'll talk about a devastating hurricane that came through the United States. We'll close out the show next. You're listening to Ocala Talks